What's up, Juventini? Jonathan David Day is here. The player lands in Turin, but what is coming up in the aftermath as we've got more news on targets and Vlahovic heading for a termination with Juventus. We'll go over the details there at the back line. Balerdi's price tag is set, but an old name creeps back into the target list for Juventus. And are we set for a swap move to bring in Ederson from Atalanta? We're going to go through all of this together right now. I'm Berto. This is the AJC here channel dedicated to Juventus. It's July 4th. Let's rock with the news. But being July 4th, first off, I have to wish all my American friends a happy 4th of July. All right, enjoy yourselves and please do so safely. July 4th also marks a birthday of a legend. This one will be a heavenly birthday that we wish to Giampiero Boniperti, one of the best players to ever don the stripes, and was a chairman for Juventus as well, and coined the iconic phrase that vincere non è importante, è l'unica cosa che conta. Giampiero Boniperti, we think of you today. Now, to the news. In the backline, Balerdi's price tag apparently set, and it is going to be hefty if Juve has any hopes of signing him from Marseille. Now, that is all that the reports state, is that they don't even actually give you a price tag. They're just claiming it is going to be high, as Marseille has no intentions of selling the player. Now, he continues to creep up in these rumors around Juventus, but all of a sudden, Dávid Hancko returns into the mix. All of you have been asking, what is the deal with Hancko? Why do we give up on Hancko? Well, apparently, Comolli was having eyes for him, and he was on his radar even back in his time in Turkey at Fenerbahce, and Comolli could strike if there are favorable options in a move for Dávid Hancko. So all of a sudden, he is back into the mix. Where does he rank amongst the targets we have heard so far at the backline for you? Hit me in the comments. Now, Jonathan David Day has arrived at Juventus. He has landed in Turin. He has gone through his medical. These are the stats on him so far. 1 million photos, 0 smiles. All business by the looks of it so far, and I hope that that carries on to the pitch, all right? Jonathan David, no smiles, all business. Now, what's happening in the aftermath? Well, Kolo Muani and Osimhen apparently are the plans of Juventus. For Kolo Muani, we had a loan plus option to purchase rejected. Apparently, Juve might go in with loan obligation with a final price between 40 and 50 million euros to land Kolo Muani. Do you think that that should be the play? Meanwhile, for Osimhen, very, very soon, that release clause of 75 million euros is going to fade away for Napoli. Now, don't forget, he's entering final contract year. That 75 million price tag never bared any weight for teams in Italy, especially Juventus. However, Napoli's going to want to wrap things up for Osimhen, and the longer that this thing drags on, and again, that release clause is going to fade away, we will see. Now, reports suggest that Napoli's going to stick to their guns and want 75 million euros. That ain't going to happen, because they're not going to want to see this guy just simply find yet another loan and then go out on a free next season. So all eyes on this Osimhen and Napoli situation. But apparently Juventus is still there keeping tabs and trying to reach an agreement with the player. Let's see. Meanwhile, when it comes to Vlahovic, we obviously have to make room. You brought in Jonathan David, which was doable, but you got to make room. So what's happening with Vlahovic? The latest reports suggest that a termination could be in play for the player, and that Comolli might approach this at trying to find a severance with his agent and players. So let's see what happens. Are we going to head that route? Meanwhile, Albanese reports that Inter has eyes on Vlahovic should he become a free agent, either now or at season's end. Let's see. But termination, should that be the play? You're kind of doing it in one way or another, because nobody's going to take him at the salary that you are about to go into next season with. The only thing is, in a termination, is that you don't even get to recoup any of the money through a fee. So for me, the best bet was always to sell the player for the best possible deal that you can find and pick up the difference on the salary on year one. A termination would be pretty rough, but this is the latest reports. Let's see. How do you feel about it? Hit me in the comments. Meanwhile, in the midfield, a swap move coming up for Ederson. Maybe the rumors suggest that Juve is hot for Ederson. He's got a hefty price tag, somewhere around 60 million euros. Nico Gonzalez could be offered up by Juventus to try and bring the price tag down. There have been no reports on how Atalanta views or feels about Nico Gonzalez, but this is an option for Juventus, is to try to throw some players at this to bring the price tag down for Ederson. Meanwhile, you would still have to find solutions for Douglas Luiz. So let's see where it lands. But a swap move potentially coming up for Ederson. How would you feel about that swap move? Hit me in the comments. If they were willing to accept Nico Gonzalez and say we could get 30 million for him, 25 million towards Ederson, but talk that Ederson price tag down because 60's outrageous. But if you can get it to 45, which I don't see feasible with Atalanta. They always sell very, very high. But if you get to 45, you can get 25 there. That's a big, big plus for me in adding Ederson. But I'm not going to hold my breath. Meanwhile, injury roundup, Lloyd Kelly. It appears that his injury isn't very serious and he will be available for Juve's retreat to Germany in early August. That is your news break. You all know what to do. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join our AJC Army, and hit me in the comments with all your thoughts on all the news you just heard here today. Are you excited for Jonathan David? How do you think he'll do at Juventus? How do you feel about a potential swap move there? And Balerdi or Hancko? Does Hancko top the list of targets? Should we be locking him up on a move around 35 million? Hit me in the comments. Let's mix it up. Tomorrow morning, we're live at 8:30 a.m. Eastern time with the gang. We're happy to get back to the live shows. Hope to see you all there. Till then, fino alla fine, forza Juventus. Ciao tutti.